Night. Mike Foligno, of course, has been holding up the scoring along with Pierre Turgeon, and after last night's game, Brian got a very positive response from the captain.
Well, you know, like I said, no one said it was going to be a four-game series. It was going to be, we're going to win. You know, I really feel strongly that way, and I think every player on the team feels strongly that way.
Well, I'll go along with that, Mike, and I think we can expect to see Jacques Cloutier back in goal tomorrow night.
Let's be odd for Game 3. Mike DeGeorge has not missed a beat all week. He's at the odd right now. And Mike, I know you got one of the Sabres' important guys with you there for tonight.
Yes, we have Kevin McGuire with us. We'll get to him in a second. Yes, I think your assumption is pretty right. It will be a hard-hitting game tonight. Game 3 tied at 1 apiece. Jacques Cloutier goes back in goal for the Sabres. It's now become a best-of-5 with the Sabres holding home ice advantage if it goes the full 7-3 of the next 5 played here at the auditorium. With us is Kevin McGuire. And Kevin, you have to feel confident at this point knowing 3 of the next 5 here and the way you played on home ice all year long.
Yeah, we did what we wanted to do in Boston, was go in and take one game. It's unfortunate we let the second one slip away. We were looking forward to coming home and taking a sweep, but we come out of Buffalo with 2 wins. We'll be in the driver's seat, obviously.
All right, the other night the Bruins took liberties with Clint Malarchuk. Tonight it's Jacques Cloutier. What do the Sabres do to protect their goaltender?
Well, we still haven't decided whether they're going to put Larry in on D right now. They're going to wait for the final minute whether we should beef up or not, but I think that got a little blown out of proportion. Clint got hit a couple of times, but I think it was just intense playing on their part. I think the series is going to get rougher and rougher as it goes on. It's been pretty mild the first 2 games, and if it's anything like last year, look out.
Certainly you don't want to start worrying about that too much. It might get you off your regular game plan.
We're not really harping on it or anything. We're kind of waiting back for them. I don't think they can afford to come out and really go at us like they did last year. They don't have the personnel, whereas we're going all out tonight. We got to win this game tonight, and if we win tonight, you know, take tomorrow, and then we'll go in and finish it in Boston.
Kevin, thank you very much. Best of luck.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay. Christian Ruutu out. He might be out for the series with the separated left shoulder. Expect Ken Priestley in the lineup. Back to you, Wes.
Okay, Mike, good. Thank you. And again, Jacques Cloutier starting back in goal for the Sabres tonight. We'll have all the highlights, of course.
In Game 2 between the Bruins and the Sabres, Buffalo faced 3 minutes shorthanded early in the second period, ahead 1-0. But Pierre Turgeon, the budding superstar, flashed to a pair of superlative goals to silence the Boston Garden crowd and give the Sabres a 3-0 lead. Boston struck back when John Carter bashed into Buffalo goalie Clint Malarchuk, and Cam Neely cashed in on the rebound. The series has turned, shall we say, mean-spirited, with 143 penalty minutes Thursday, including 6 fighting calls and 4 game misconduct. Then the Bruins tied the score early in the third period, went ahead 44 seconds later on Bob Carpenter's goal, and sealed the victory on a Ray Neufeld shot at the 15:42 mark. Buffalo's Christian Ruutu is out with a broken shoulder, and the Sabres come home to a pivotal Game 3 in Memorial Auditorium tonight. Smash and Grab continues next on the Hydro Frontier Sports Network. Cloutier starting in goal for the Buffalo Sabres. John Tucker is back in the lineup. He missed the last game. Christian Ruutu is out with that broken shoulder, and that's going to be a big loss.
Well, you know how excited, actually, the people were actually quite happy to hear that Kenny Linsman was out of the lineup for Boston. I imagine Boston's feeling the same way about Christian Ruutu. They both mean about the same to each other's team. It is a big, big loss for the Buffalo Sabres. That's in capital letters, Ted. That is an awful big loss.
Guess what, Mike? I know the scalpers have been out in full force in front of the odd tonight.
They have kids to feed, just like you and me. You know, you have to make a buck. Playoffs a good time for it, I guess.
They're running around out there trying to sell as many tickets as they possibly can.
Not many left.
No, and it'll be Andy Moak starting in goal for the Bruins. And now, let's go to John Gertler.
Thank you, gentlemen. Sabre County.
And welcome to game number 3 of the Stanley Cup Anthems Division semifinals with the Boston Bruins and your Buffalo Sabres. Here are the starting lineup tonight for your Buffalo Sabres. At left wing, wearing number 20, Mike Hartman. 77, the NHL Stanley Cup. Leading scorer, Pierre Turgeon. At right wing, number 17, the captain, Mike Foligno. On defense, number 3, Grant Ledyard. Also on defense, number 5, Mike Ramsey. And starting in goal tonight, number 1, Jacques Cloutier. Ladies and gentlemen, head coach Ted Sater and the rest of the Buffalo Sabres. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please welcome the Buffalo Sabres President and Chairman of the Board, Mr. Seymour H. Knox III.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Memorial Auditorium for the site of the first home playoff game of the 1988-1989 season. Thanks for your warm welcome and appreciation of our team. I hope we're going to be playing more playoff games in April and also in May, so thanks for your support. I would like at this time to introduce my good friend, who is the president of the City Council and who had been a member of the council when we first came into the league in 1970, the Honorable George K. Arthur.
Thank you, Seymour. On behalf of all of the hockey fans of Western New York, we want to thank you for a year of exciting hockey, and especially this second half, because this means that we are on our way to bringing the Stanley Cup to where it belongs, right here in Buffalo. Thank you.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please welcome the Boston Bruins. For the singing of the Canadian and U.S. national anthems, as sung by Buffalo's own Frankie Scinta.
Our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons' command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. And stand on guard, oh Canada, we stand on guard.
the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
The officials for tonight's game, the referee is Dan Meroelli, Dan Shakti, and Gerard Gauthier are the two linesmen. And starting in goal for the Boston Bruins will be Andy Moog. He was in for that victory for the Bruins over the Buffalo Sabres the other night. Andy Moog with a...
Seemed like your hockey club had the territorial edge, yet you're down 1-0. Where does that put your heads here going into the period, going into the dressing room?
I think the the first period for us was just was all on our anxiousness and excitement. First playoff game at home. I think we went right after them and went after them hard. And then as far as that goal went, I think it was just a little breakdown. Misreading, and they capitalized on it.
You mentioned the anxiety of it all. How is that dealing? This is your first NHL playoff series. How are you dealing with the anxiety?
I felt a little better in Boston, I tell you. I'm a little nervous today. I'm thinking more than reacting off instinct. Where that's what I should be doing, whereas I was doing it in Boston. But I think during the next two periods I'll start to calm down a little bit, and I think the team will start to calm down and play some good positional hockey.
You would have to think, Sean, this playoff series is so important to you personally in your career. If you play well in the playoffs here against Boston, which you have so far, that have an awful lot to do with security for next year coming into training camp.
Yeah, I found out about security.
Yeah, there's none in this business.
There is none, but a lot of the teams, they were saying that we're out of the playoffs. Guys are fighting for jobs. Well, I tell you, I'm fighting for a job and, hopefully for a Stanley Cup this year. I mean, that's what we got our mindset on. Right now it's Boston, but, we want to go a long way.
Yeah. I would think one of your big challenges out there, along with Mike Ramsey and Bodger, is you're playing an awful lot against Cam Neely. You have to deal with that guy, and he's like a freight train coming down your side. How are you dealing with technically? Yeah, you can't, obviously, you're not going to out-muscle him.
No, I think it's good for me to have him coming down my wing. It makes me get back in the corner a lot quicker, so, I'm not getting blindsided by him. But he's the type of player you can't, take advantage of, because, if you make a mistake on him or a wrong move on him, he's going to capitalize and put it in the net. So, I enjoy playing against him, but, I mean, he's the type of player you got to get on right from when he leaves his zone.
You bring up a good point. You're right. As far as being in the game, knowing ahead of time you have to play against Cam Neely, I mean, you don't have any choice. Sean Anderson is in the game. You have to be thinking about this guy, having to deal with him all night long. It's not like you're dealing with someone that you can just swat around and really nothing to worry about. He is a major concern.
Oh, yeah, he is. He's one of the better players on their team, and he's a guy you got to watch out for. And like I said, you can't take advantage of him, or else, he'll get in there and he'll beat you to the puck, and he'll create things in front of the net. So I mean, you got to watch him, and you can't take him for granted.
Well, Sean, you've had a terrific second half, and you're on your way to a good National Hockey League career. We thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay, Sean Anderson, defenseman, the Buffalo Sabres. We'll be back with more, and you're watching Sabres Hockey. chance we've had to cheer all day long. Rick Vaive scoring this goal. He's drawing 3 penalties so far in this game. Now watch the goal right here. I think he's almost down on his stomach when he scores it. You bet, not only his stomach, but he scores it from his left ear. Took an awful pounding as usual. Keep an eye on Vaive in front. Watch this guy crack it. Boom, down he goes. Keeps his eye on the puck, hammers it. Sabres' first goal of the game, and Vaive loves it. Good positioning. Andrechuk takes his first shot, almost scores himself. Now what happens many times when a goaltender, they shut you right out. They hold you off the scoreboard. When you finally crack the son of a gun, you usually end up scoring a pile. We'll find out if that happens here.
It's a 2-1 score. Here goes Johnson in after it for the drive, but he's sends out with a
Now they really have a lot of work in front of them. They got this game tied up, but they've just started. It's a game they must win. We were talking about Pierre Turgeon a minute ago. He's the guy that really makes it happen. We'll throw Scotty Arniel in there and Rick Vaive. Watch the work right here by Vaive. Takes a hammering, continues to tick. Look at the play. Beautiful by Turgeon. Beats that defense with Scotty Arniel. Mr. Unsung, Mr. Average. Scored probably the biggest goal of the season for the Buffalo Sabres. People have gone berserk here at the auditorium. One more time. Nice piece of footwork. Good soccer move, isn't it? Scotty's European, is he? Kicked it up and bingo.
Housley coming in from the blue line to tie this game at 2. Ted Darling with Mike Rowe the tie at Memorial Auditorium in Buffalo. We welcome Sports Channel. Our coverage here, the Sabres have just tied the game at 2 and a goal by Housley. The Bruins have taken a 2-0 lead on goals by Burridge and Neely.
Buffalo did everything right in that goal. Perfect right to a T.
5 then puts Buffalo onto the
goaltender Andy Mogan, their offensive hero, Cam Neely with 2 goals in the third.
You know, damn, I had a chance to tie the game at the end. Didn't even hit the net. I mean, you know, that's got to get those. I mean, that's what I get paid for. That's why I'm here, and got to at least get the puck on net. I mean, that's what they count on me for, and I didn't do it.
So the Bruins now have the upper hand. They lead the series 2-1. Game 4 tomorrow night, right here at the Odd, beginning
for them tonight. A win over Boston in Game 4 of their playoff series sends it back to the Garden, tied at 2 wins apiece. But of course, you know, a loss, and the Bruins take a commanding 3-1 lead back to Beantown. Now, after all the uproar over the interference with the goalies in Game 2, referee Dan Morelli made it known that goalies were off limits last night. He had 2 early calls against the Sabres. Boston took a first-period lead that held up for a long time when Randy Burridge beat Jacques Cloutier with just over 3 minutes left in the period. Goalies may have been off limits, but Greg Johnston wasn't. Watch Mike Ramsey send him into la-la land with a thundering second-period check. Actually, you got to give Johnston credit. He was up, came right back to the bench. Bruins tried to add to their lead, but Cloutier with a great breakaway stop on Andy Brickley. Finally, in the third period, Cam Neely scores here to make it 2-0. But the Sabres give them credit. They were struggling on the power play all night long. They produced a goal here, though, when Rick Vaive scored as he was going down to the ice. And just 2.5 minutes later, Pierre Turgeon feeds Phil Housley in front. Housley scores, and just like that, it was tied at 2 apiece. But with Mike Foligno in the penalty box late in the game on a so-so call, the Bruins go ahead. Cam Neely scoring his second of the night. Boston added an empty netter to close out a 4-2 victory and spoiling a gutsy comeback by the Sabres.
Well, we're just trying to make sure everybody keeps their heads up, make sure nobody gets down. You know, it's tough when you lose, and especially in front of your hometown like this. We just got to make sure, you know, the guys that haven't been here before, make sure that we get them geared up. Forget about this one. It's over and done with. Nothing you can do about it. Get this thing even back up again.
You know, we've been in this situation before, but there's no reason that, and there's no way that we're thinking our backs are up against the wall. What we've got to make sure is that we come up with a real strong game plan tomorrow and stick to it the way we did today. And the puck's going to go in for us. You know, we just got to believe it. And we got to work it a little bit harder at it.
Just seemed like we just couldn't get a bounce out there on the power play. Shots were getting through and hitting legs and just bouncing the wrong way, bouncing away from our people in front of the net. And it just seemed like we couldn't get it going. I don't think it was anything in particular they were doing. It just wasn't working.
Game 4 tonight.